Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. My name is James Rink. I'm the host of Super Soldier Talk, and I was used as a super soldier in the projects. But today we are going to be talking about super soldier technology. Welcome, Merlin Moonshadow. How are you doing today?
We're doing pretty good. Thank you for having me here on your show.
Absolutely. We're going with a Marvel look. So I've got my Hulk smash. Oh, shoot. It's going to be cut. So I got that when I went to Universal, my mug there. But so today we're going to be discussing some of the apps that Merlin Moonshadow has been making. So Merlin Moonshadow is a visionary and technological alchemist, seamlessly blending mysticism and technology. As an expert in both arcane and scientific disciplines, his work focuses on manifestation through scientific computing, visualization technologies, and artificial intelligence. His expertise extends to esoteric healing modalities, including pendulum dowsing, body dowsing, and Reiki. A strategist, in military science, and as well as a dedicated martial artist, Moonshadow integrates ancient traditions with modern tactical knowledge. His specialization in sacred geometry, psionics, and psychotronics allows him to harness scalar wave technology as well as Radionics and battle magic. As a guardian of the Lion's Gate and custodian of the celestial blue phoenix, he plays a role in the U.S. Psychotronic Association. With over 2,000 private sessions, Moonshadow has assisted individuals and corporations in protecting dark magic against dark as well as negative energy attacks. His mission as a technological alchemist is to empower individuals by transmuting energies within the holographic matrix of existence, mentoring and educating the next generation of techno magicians. His career has spanned multiple disciplines, serving as the director of the Center for Scientific Visualization, a NASA funded research facility, to pioneer visualization techniques as a professor of computer visualization. Holding degrees in chemistry and environmental engineering, he played a pivotal role in developing a prototype helmet tracking system for the JSF fighter at Boeing Phantom Works. His work in intelligence has included government remote viewing projects, while his expertise in martial arts encompasses Black Tiger Kung Fu, Taekwondo, Aikido, and Qigong. In the realm of advanced technology, esoteric sciences, Moonshadow has explored hyper osmolar ultrafiltration phenomenon in CAPD, as well as conducted groundbreaking ORMS research and delved into tensor technology and energy rings. His deep understanding of sacred geometry, scalar wave technology, and radionics has further expanded his influence in the field. A practitioner of weather manipulation and energy transmutation, he continues to push the boundaries of both science and mysticism, shaping a new paradigm where technology and magic converge. Doug, are you there? Are you there?
Yes,
So I got your website, Psionic Warriors, and you can also go to the Digital Shaman. So I've known you for what, probably 15 years, 20 years now.
yes, yeah. We've known each other for quite some time, and it's exciting to finally get get on the show here.
So you've been on my board of directors for my nonprofit for many
Yes.
years, and that was back in the day when we had Sue Mount on the board. So unfortunately, Sue Mount's actually been on this show before. So I want to mention that um, she's not answering her phone, and the last we've heard, she had to move back to Illinois to live with her daughter because she got very sick. She had a something pushed her down the stairs and she broke her femur. So they put a rod in there, but then the screws came out of the rod. So then it
Oh
got
my goodness.
infected. And
Hmm.
she wanted to get surgery to get the rod out, but no one would do it. And then, so she just got sicker and sicker. And so, and she was on the roster to speak at our event last year, but as you know, she got sick. She couldn't even, um, I mean, she would have been in a wheelchair, but unfortunately, so yeah, that's the order of the game here in this business, where we where people are still being where Our planet is still sick. We haven't been these advanced technologies haven't been released to the public, but there is some technology that we can have access to, and that's where you, Merlin Moonshadow, have a history in that. So tell us a little bit about some. First of all, was there anything in that bio that I might have missed?
No, I think you encompassed most everything. My background, I'm not a super soldier, but I work a lot in the super soldier community, and I was trained by my cousin who is a super soldier, and I got into this technology when my mother got sick, and she had congestive heart failure, and I started researching different modalities in order to work with her. I was coming from a more scientific perspective, and all of my technology is from a more scientific perspective. I practice the study of a number of different modalities. And when she got sick, I started looking and researching in energy medicine and different types of Reiki and prayer. And I realized that you know the doctors weren't going to be enough, and I needed to do what I do best and research and figure out ways to help my mother. And so that took me down this whole rabbit hole. I remember talking to the doctor and saying that my mom's sick and she's in a lot of pain, and the doctor said, "Hey, I have a pill for everything." And I realized at that time that this guy was giving me his A game, and that's not going to be enough. So I studied hard and focused on Reiki and energy healing. And I read a book called, it was from Dr. Robert Pearl. And, it's like on page 124, I think I remember. And he says, just open your hands. And if you can't feel the energy, you're doing something wrong. So I was like, okay, I'm not feeling anything, what's going on. But then I was able to take my understanding of martial arts and my understanding of energy and science and combine these together and understand the same energy that you use to break a brick. You can transmute that energy and into healing. So then I went to see my mother, and she hadn't seen me. She had all these tubes and everything. She was just happy to see me, and I started doing some energy work on her, and um, you know I wasn't a Reiki master or anything. I was just going off of science. But I like I said, I was a martial artist, and I understood how to manipulate chi in order to break bricks. So I said, okay, this is okay. I'm generating this energy, and then I'm going to put my intention into this energy, and then use it for healing. So long story short, after that experience, I was able to heal her, and it took me down this new rabbit hole of psychotronics and radionics and some of these other technologies. And I work a lot with targeted individuals who are getting hit with a number of different types of scalar wave weaponry. And a lot of these technologies are the science behind them are hidden from the general public. And so that's one of the things I want to show, some of the technologies and how some of these things on a small level work, and how they probably work in the super soldier community. Throughout the years, I was trained by my cousin. Now, my cousin is, I would classify as a super soldier. We are both come from a bloodline where we're descendants of Thomas Jefferson and Sally Hemings, and so we have a certain bloodline genetic structure. And when I met my cousin, we met at the university and stuff. At the time, It was an unusual, meeting, and he just kind of came through. And I'm showing him and talking to him about my family and the lineage of the family, and the different, in the location there. And he's, we're feeling like we're brothers and stuff. But little did I know that he had escaped from the hospital, and he was a stage 4 cancer patient. And he he was basically going to um, say goodbye to his family. He thought that was it, and but he didn't tell me any of this stuff. So we go around, and we were almost like we knew each other, and we were brothers and stuff, just first time meeting. And then he leaves, and later on I find out that there was a Amber Alert um, put out for him because he escaped from the hospital. Now, I had never heard of an Amber Alert um, for a grown man. I've heard of it for children, but I had never heard of it for a grown man. So that, kind of piqued my curiosity. I was like, okay, there's something different, here. So then I found out he was going to go into surgery. So I had been practicing the Reiki and these energy healing modalities. So I do a form of remote viewing where I blindfold myself, and then I go into the astral plane, and I try to work on different clients and patients. So I heard that he was going into surgery. He was in Michigan. I was in Ohio. And so I start working on him. He doesn't know I'm working on him. But when I was in the astral plane and I was doing this healing, so it's, you're blindfolded, so you don't have any other stimulation, and I see his body as like a hologram, and I'm, cutting away different cords. When we meet up with anybody throughout our lives, we have these energy cords. So I start cutting these energy cords and stuff, and then I cut the cord for generational curses. And in the astral plane, there was an explosion, and that had never, happened to me. I'd never, had an explosion while I was in the astral plane. So something happened. And then a few months later, I don't, I'm in a different state. He doesn't even know I'm working on him. He contacts me, and he was telling me about his operation, and he said it went great, and he felt great. And when they opened him up, they couldn't find any of the cancer. So I was like, oh wow, that's, you know pretty wild.
So
So we became.
let's use cryptic words instead of CANC.
Oh, I'm sorry.
See,
Okay.
yeah. Well, Rob Callie actually lost his channel by talking about whatever.
Okay.
We're just gonna
Well,
go ahead.
okay. So yeah, we got back to, we started talking and stuff, and he was, telling me about his experiences. And he was in the Navy. He When he went into the Navy, they have a naval entrance exam, and he got a perfect score on the naval entrance exam, and he was put on. Um, it wasn't the flagship, but it was a special um, scientific vessel that had a lot of, top brass. And it was I believe, the USS Erie. And you had to be top, your class to get onto this ship. And if you do some research on that particular ship, you can see some of the projects that they worked on. And he told me that he actually drove the ship, and they went into I think it was Desert Storm and stuff. So he's right out of boot camp, going right to war and stuff on the ship. And he said he would drive the ship they drove into the Bermuda Triangle, um, and they would shoot down, UFOs and stuff. Now, this isn't a spaceship or anything. This is just a regular, Navy, ship. So it was just fascinating, all the, different things that he had, been through. And during that time, he was telling me these stories. He started, training me. And like I said, he was still going through, chemotherapy, or what they called, chemotherapy. And he would have me drive him around and stuff. So he would, get these, injections at the VA. And then he would just be hobbling on a cane. And I'm like, hey, you want me to take you home and stuff? He's like, no, no, no. It's like, well, where do you want to go? He's like, take me to the gym. I was like, take you to the gym? I was like, you can barely walk. He's like, shut up, just take me to the gym. I was like, okay. So I take him to the gym. And then he's like, put 400 on the bench press. And I was like, 400? I was like, you can barely walk. And he's like, shut up, so I just, put the 400 on. And then I would see him, like right out of, chemo. He would get up there and he would be pushing 400 pounds, like, I mean, just like pushing it, hitting it over and over and over again. And I had never seen anything like it. And he would get a little crowd, and he's not a big guy at all. And there would be these big, football players, and he would, people would be watching him, seeing how much he could, push. Um, and then after he would do that, he would, put the cane down and he would feel better. So one time I went to the doctor with him and I said, well, what's going on? Well, his body was in so much pain. He had figured out a way to increase his dopamine and serotonin levels by lifting these weights. And so then I was like, hooked. I was like, okay, you got to teach me how to do this. And he would be curling on each arm. He would be curling about 120 pounds, and I'd never seen, anybody able to do that. And so he was training me, and I never got to 120, but I got to 100. And I asked him, I said, what's going through your mind when you're moving the weight? He said, you don't look at the weight. I was sitting there struggling with the weight, staring at it. And he was saying that you can't look at the weight doesn't exist. And so when I turned my head away from the weight, I was able to start to move it and um, get get the weight up. So over the years, he kept on training me and teaching me a lot of different things, and that's where a lot of this technology that I work with, kind of comes from. And it had been maybe about 3 years, and one day he told me that he was going to bring me into his reality. And I was like, bring you in? I was like, I've been driving you around for 3 years. What are you talking about? And he said, just, watch and see. And so we go to the gym and we work out, and we're, lifting weights. And then we go to this Five Guys burger, you know, and he said, we're going to raise your vibration. And when your vibration raises, you're going to be in a different dimension, and different things are going to happen to you. And I said, okay, whatever. And so we go to the Five Guys, we open up the first set of doors, and then go for the second set. And the guy runs from behind the counter and opens the door for us. And I'm like, wait a minute. That's a little weird. And then he goes back and he goes to the counter and takes our order. And he's like, I'll get a cheeseburger and fries for me, and a cheeseburger and fries for him. And I give him my card and stuff. He takes my card, he swipes it, and he says, I got you. And I'm like, okay, whatever that means. And I'm just sitting there, waiting for the order. And then my cousin's over there laughing, because I guess he knows what's gonna happen. So they give us the order, and then the guy was like, "Here's your order," and then we're making his order too. I'm just like, "What? What do you mean? We have everything here." He's like, "No, I got you." And I was like, "Okay, that's a little weird." So we end up with 4 burgers, 4 fries, And then my cousin said, let's get out of there. And what he explained to me was he vibrates at a higher level. And so when you're at that higher vibration, your life is different. Things are always, when he's vibrating, things are already set up in certain ways. And you can be standing next to somebody and they can be vibrating at a different vibration, and they're almost like they're in another dimension. Even though you're standing next to them, you see them and everything, but they're still in a different dimension. So some of the other things that I experienced with him was his ability to stop time. So he was able, we were in his apartment, there was a group of us and stuff, and he was able to stop time. So he stopped it. Everybody's watch, everybody, the clock on the wall, everything stopped. Now we're still moving around. So it was almost like it was a time bubble that he kind of was able to generate. And then, it would start back up. But the phones, the clocks, everything would stop. And then I also experienced where things would be flying around when he got angry. Like one time we went out he had to pay a bill and stuff, and he got angry. Then we went back to his apartment and everything had been moved. Like all of his glasses had fallen down, but it was all in like a circle. There was no forced entry or anything. And then the people in the apartment, he kept trying to change his thermostat in his apartment, because his body would generate, so it would vibrate so much that it would give off so much heat that they didn't, it wouldn't they weren't making any money off of the gas or the for the heat, because he was heating everything up so much. And they kept on changing the thermostat, thinking that there was a problem with the thermostat, but it was really that he could, generate, all this different heat with his body. Another thing that I experienced with him was the ability to control, like the elements. And we were in Yellow Springs, where same town where Dave Chappelle lives in Ohio. And he was demonstrating for everybody that he could generate this windstorm. And all of a sudden the door to the store, flew open, and it was almost like a cyclone. And then he could, control it and stop it. And then we would go to different places. Like we went to this crystal store, and people could recognize his energy. And all these witches that were at the store, they all gathered, and they was like, "We've been expecting you." And I was like, wow. It was just all kinds of unique experiences, hanging out with him. And so I took all these different experiences um, in watching what he could do, and I tried to, as a scientist, understand what was going on and how to encapsulate him so that other people could also do these types of things. Now, one of the most amazing things that I saw him do was we went to Barnes and Noble, and he was looking for a book, and he sat down and like, okay, I don't see the book. So we went up to um, the lady at the front and asked, if the book was here. And she said, no, the book's not here. So I was like, okay, cuz let's get out of here and see if we can find the book someplace else. And he was like, nah, I think I'm going to sit here and get this book. And so he sits down in front of the bookshelf where the book was, should have been. And he just starts staring at it. And I learned, over the years, just to, just be quiet and watch and, see what he does. And so he's staring at the bookshelf. And then it was for a good 10 minutes. He reaches out to get and pulls a book. And now this isn't the book that he wanted. He pulls it out and then takes off the book cover and inside the book cover is the book that he was looking for. And I was like blown away. I was like, okay, that's pretty wild. I never. So somehow he was able to transmute or um, manifest um, the book into this reality. And when I was studying that situation, I think he could probably have manifested it maybe out of thin air, but he still needed some type of something to make it like it was almost plausible. Like it couldn't be just completely out of thin air. He had to pull it out and pull it out for the book cover to make it make sense, somehow. And, you know, there were just so many different things that he showed me and taught me. And so I took all this different um, these experiences and put them into the different technologies that I work with. And when I was meditating one time, he at my home there was this tree, and he was teaching me to raise my vibration. That's the key to getting a lot of these abilities, is to keep your vibration very high. And so I'm meditating next to this tree, and when I'm holding the tree and grounding, and I look down on the ground, and I see the grass change from, it looked like regular grass, then it looked like a picture of grass, and then it went to green, and then it went to white. So the illusion of this hologram, this matrix that we live in, dissolved out. And then I saw it, and I just was trying to hold it, and then I saw it come back in. So I've been able to, through his training, see through the matrix simulation that we live in. And once I kind of understood that, okay, we are in a simulation in a video game type scenario. Well, not, we'll say simulation, not a video game. That we're able to modify this reality. And that's what the technology that I work with the psychotronics and psionics and scalar wave technology. These are all technologies that have been kind of suppressed over the years, so that we are not able to. Well, it makes it more difficult for us to wake up and into our real abilities and our real powers that we all have. And I think from my research, um, I think in the super soldier community, a lot of these abilities have been suppressed, or when they go off world, they have more abilities than they do down here. So, but the interesting thing about my cousin was he was able to um, have the abilities down here. So I was studying. I was like, okay, what is it about him that makes him different from everybody else? And you have to, when you have this type of ability, you need three things. You need a target, you need your intention, and then you need a power source. So when whatever happened to him, he had a what's called a kundalini awakening, and he's able to generate a great deal of chi or orgone energy, life force energy, in order to give him these abilities. And I think many of the super soldiers, when they're um, off world, whatever the dampening field is, there's some type of dampening field on the planet, whether it's the cell phones or some of these other technologies. Um, they seem to be suppressing the abilities of most people, and so you have to work very hard in order to break through and tap back in, or rewire your your brain. And that's one of the things that I teach with my students, ways of different exercises that you can do in order to tap into that chi energy or life force energy in order to raise it and increase your vibration. And so some of the other experiences after I started working with him, I actually met a number of other super soldiers. And one experience that I had with one client, she was on. I don't think she's been on your show, but I met her on a forum that was, I think, attached to something you were working on, James. And she was asking for help. So I'm thinking, okay, she just, it sounded like she had like a ghost in her house. I was like, okay, that's something pretty easy to, get rid of. I, use my pendulum and I can, clear the energy or, after, training with my cousin, I thought at that time, I thought I was like, Superman and I could do it. I was like, okay, I got this. So she contacts me and she's asked, can I help her? I said, okay, yeah, no problem. So I bilocate to her location, and she was a very advanced psychic. And when I got there, bilocating, she could see me in my astral body, and she's like, "Oh, there you are." And I'm like, "Okay, this is going to be interesting." Because she can see me in my astral body, and she's like, "Okay, I need some help. I'm getting attacked. Is there anything you can do or anything?" So this is, all in the, I'm remote viewing or bilocating to this location. So I'm looking around and I see all these little orbs all around her house. They were like the size of Christmas balls. And I'm like, okay, that's a little weird. Okay. Never seen that before. And then there's this real big, orb there. And so all of a sudden there's this thing that jumps out of the large orb and jumps on her chest. And it looked like a hag or something. And it was jumping on her, and like trying to, I don't know, was trying to, keep her from breathing or something. And so I'm trying to pull this hag off. And then over in the corner, there's this guy, and he was like, he had a black pants on, he had glasses, white button down shirt, black tie, and he's sitting there watching us. And she's like, is he with you? I was like, no, I don't know who he is. And he's just watching everything that's going on. So I'm trying to pull this hag off, and this guy's staring at us, and she's, all upset and everything. So I get this hag thing off of her, and then I start closing. I realize that these spheres are portals. And so I start closing all the portals around the room. And so once the portals start closing, there's just one portal left. And it's a large one, and it's in front of me. So then all of a sudden, she's sitting down, and these wires come from out of the portal, and they start going into her head on different parts of her head. So I'm like, okay, that's, crazy. I've never seen that before. And so then she says, I want you to go through the portal and see what's on the, over there, and see what's on the screen. And now, I've never in my astral form gone through a portal. So it wasn't like something that I had ever done before. And so I was a little hesitant, but I was also very curious because I gotten to this point. I was real curious to see, what was over there and stuff. So she kind of convinced me, and I went through the portal in my astral form, and it was like this underground laboratory. And then I kind of got the understanding that I was like in a different. It was almost like a different dimension or different universe than this one. And so I'm thinking, okay, well, if I'm in a different universe, there must be another version of me over in this universe. So I try, I kind of ping to find the other version of me. And then I realized that he didn't make it. And so I'm like, okay, that's not good. So I'm trying to, get whatever I got to get done and then get out of here. So she wanted me to go to the computer and read what's on the screen. So I'm in my astral form. And when you're in your astral form and you're remote, you're bilocating, it's very difficult to, everything's not clear. It's not a clear connection and stuff. So I'm trying to read what's on the screen. It was very difficult. Then she said, there was like a lady upstairs, go to the lady. And she's given me these instructions. And these are instructions that I had never heard of before, like in terms of remote viewing, and they were definitely, like, she was definitely military trained, because I had never heard of anything. And she told me to whisper in the lady's ear, and the lady would tell me what they were injecting her with. And it was some type of nano paste or something that they were injecting her with. So I'm getting the information and looking at the screen, and then I'm trying to get back through the portal. So I get back through the portal and stuff, and then I pull off the cords that were on her. And long story short, what was going on was, in the other dimension, they were fighting her, and they were trying, and she was some type of portal, guardian or something over there in that universe. And they were trying to get the coordinates from these different portals from her mind over here and figuring out some stuff. It was pretty wild. So, I try to write up these different, experiences and stuff so I can analyze them later. So later, she introduces me to a couple people that she had met. Now, these are all super soldiers, and they didn't know each other at the time. So, I'm, meeting up with them, and we're on like a Zoom call, and we're all, talking and everything. And I'm showing each of them some of the technology and some of the work that my cousin had shown me and stuff. And they found it kind of fascinating because it was different from the skill set that they had learned. So I bring all these people together, and supposedly they didn't know each other, all strangers on a Zoom call, random. And we do a meditation. And one of my abilities is I have the ability to connect people's minds together. So I brought everybody up, I raised everybody's vibration, and I brought everybody's mind together. And when I did that, it was like a battery connecting all these in parallel, and it blew something out. It was another spark, boom. Okay, and all of a sudden, all of these super soldiers started recovering their memories, and they all realized that not all of them, that a bunch of them knew each other, and they all had a memory of being on the ship. That was the last memory that they had, and they were trying to escape. And their brains had been wiped in a way so that they couldn't. It was really fascinating. They couldn't see their own files, so they were running up to the mirror with somebody else's file, and they were showing it on the mirror. So one of the other people in the group would memorize somebody else's file, so that they would have the information, because they were about to get their minds wiped and stuff. And so that was fascinating. I was like, I never even heard of that. So somehow the mind wipe technology does not allow them to read their own file in the community, and so they were, using other people's mind. And when their minds are together, when I have them linked together, they also can interact, and they also can use each other's abilities. So they start getting all these memories back, and you know the people who are on that call, they can vouch this story for me. The super soldiers in the community um, can verify all this stuff happened. So then there was a I don't know how to say this, but they realized that they were. I think everybody's made up, but there was a major. I'll just say a major conflict um, in the group. So they, one minute they're all, they don't know each other. Next minute I connect their brains up and they realize they were all on the spaceship trying to escape. And then the next minute they realize that uh, something happened, and it kind of prevented them from escaping, and it caused a lot of conflict. I think all these people have made up over the years and stuff, but it caused a lot caused a lot of conflict. But it was very fascinating, just seeing how it all went down. The lady who was not on the ship, she was a targeted individual, and she had been tortured by, we'll just call them you know the elites for years, since she was a child, and she was trying to learn some techniques in order to stop the torture. I mean, she would write the things that were going on, and I couldn't even read the whole letter. It was so horrendous, the things that they were putting her through. So somehow they would take her astral body to some place and they would hunt her. She was being hunted um, in this location and stuff, and she said she would be nude, and they would just hunt her down and stuff. So I taught her some techniques, and the techniques are the grim shot, and this would allow her to generate some astral weapons while she was in these locations. So after she went through the training, when they brought her there, she was able to shoot back, and she said they were hunting her, and then she was able to generate some astral weapons and shoot back, and they were horrified because they had never seen anybody able to actually do that. So it was pretty fascinating. I've met some other people who are in the community. One lady who was on the banking side, and she was taking the money from Earth and sending it to off world. And that was pretty fascinating because I had never heard of anything like that before. And before they sent it off planet, they would have to, there was a certain energy signature, the energy of the money, the currency, she called it currency, had to be cleansed. And so she worked with the Vatican, and they would cleanse the money, and then it would go for whatever project or whatever off world. And that was pretty fascinating. I've had other clients who were not in the secret space program, but they're some people don't, who get rejected. So her mother was in the secret space program, but she got rejected, and she was and the lady I was working with was a hybrid. So she was a hybrid, and she works with the Galactic Council now. But I found that was kind of interesting. So everybody doesn't get into the program. Some people do wash out, and not everybody's a super soldier. There are other you know other people that do other job. You got to have a manager, you got to have janitors, you got to have all kinds of other things in the programs. And a lot of people don't talk about that. So that was kind of, fascinating, that all of these things, all these different people had different aspects of these of going into the programs, but they weren't necessarily the superhero. They were also doing other things in the programs and stuff.
Well, I've got some questions.
Okay.
So let's go back. Diligent asked a great question here. I don't understand why people off world would use our monies.
I think it was used to pay for something. Um, I'm just telling you what the client said. Okay. So she was working with the Vatican. Um, the interesting thing was she was a how would I say, dominatrix, and she got the money from a client who died and gave her the money. It was a lot of money. It was, in the but instead of her, and they tried to kill her. Um, Instead of her controlling the money, the Vatican swept in, took the money, and convinced her to kind of sign it over, you know, and then used it to. Then she and some other um, women would energetically cleanse the money. So I have a feeling the money was, you know, I guess everything has an energy signature, and it's not just like, taking money out of a piggy bank and then, sending it out. For some reason, she had to energetically cleanse the money, and that was her job. They would, do these different rituals and stuff, and energetically cleanse the money, and then her words were, it was sent off world. Okay. So I don't know anything else, but with the words those were the words she
I
gave
mean,
me.
maybe, yeah, maybe it could have been transferred into some kind of mineral that had some kind of wealth off world and trade. I mean, one of the products that we're trade here is our DNA, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, somebody has to build the ships. That all costs money. Somebody has to, pay everybody. There
personnel
are
too.
people who do get paid something, um, and the energy and the currency has to be transferred in some way. But she was the first person I had ever heard of that was talking about banking, and that was her expertise, was banking. Um, Off world, and she's real good with contracts and stuff like that. And it's also very interesting, the in the super soldier community, the aspect of contracts and breaking soul contracts and military contracts. And my cousin was an expert in contract law. He called it piercing a contract, making sure you read the fine print and understanding uh, the contract. And that was something that the Navy had taught him. You know,
Okay, next question. Is the dampening field the matrix, or what would you say the matrix is? What do you think?
hmm. No, I don't think the dampening field is the matrix. I think the matrix is the simulation, and inside the simulation, there is something that is pulling people's energy. When I saw how my cousin was able to do what he was able to do, his energy was just so much greater and he vibrated. Like I said, he would generate heat. He would attract bees and stuff, and and insects would just come, and hummingbirds. One time, I didn't see this, but he said he was in his room and he was vibrating, and he said he saw a fairy um, fly up in front of his face. And I said, that's a crazy story. But everything, sound, it all sounds wild. And so he said the interesting thing was he just started focusing on it, and he said the interesting thing was it didn't fly through the wall. It went around and went out the door, and it was a little trail. He said he could see like a little, just like in Tinkerbell, little trail of light, following it. So later on, he told me this story, and I was like, that's pretty wild. So later on, I found this CIA document, where this lady who was in the Gateway program, and she reported that once you got to a certain level, that you could see fairies and gnomes. And so I sent him a picture, and this was just something I found on the internet of what she said she saw. And he said, "Oh my God, that's it. I'm not going crazy." So the interesting thing about him was he had all these super abilities, but he didn't have a training manual, and he didn't. So we would experiment, because I'm a scientist. So we would do experiments just to see, what he could do, and try to figure out how he could, do some of this stuff. Some of the stuff would spontaneously happen, and some of the stuff, he was able to really, control. But to
All right.
answer the question about the, is this the dampening field? I think there's the 5G pulls your energy. I think everything around you, the food, the frequency, is
Yeah, just
everything is
keep in
designed
mind
to.
there's a censorship. Yeah, but go ahead.
Mhm.
Okay, let's go on next question. Let's see here. What is how about we just pull up this PowerPoint presentation, because that might actually answer some of these questions. What do you think of
Okay, maybe.
that? Okay, let's go ahead and do that. And then we can get going here with this. Uh, it's not showing up. Let me see. I could do. Okay, let me just share my notes and then I'll turn this. Okay, now
Okay.
let me do this again. Stop. This thing is. Everybody, stay with me. Don't go anywhere. We're gonna get through this together. And I don't know. It's not showing up.
Is
Let
it
me let
as
me try it again. Let me try it again.
the screen?
Because in the past. Okay, now I see it. Here we go.
Okay.
And then I can say here, we can take that off, and then we're gonna do this right here.
Okay.
All right, go ahead. Oh, I can actually make it full screen if you want. Oh,
Okay.
no,
You
it
said there
can't.
were.
Maybe I can make it bigger. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Um, so you said there was another question. Um, oh, did you want me to just go through all the
Well,
slides?
the next question, like the difference between psychotronic, psionic, and scalar. So is that in this presentation?
Let's see. If you go to slide 7, see if you can. Maybe we can talk about that a little bit. Okay. So the difference between psychotronic, psionics, and scalar. So they do overlap in many ways. When you talk about psionics, it's I think what I'm referring to is the mental abilities. So a lot of these tools, they work in the hologram, but eventually you want to get to a point where you use them completely from a mental
Hmm.
place. So when I was working with my cousin, I would do a lot of hand movement and stuff, and he's like, "Hey, put your hands. You don't need to use your hand. Use your brain." So he wouldn't. I was like, "Hey, I'm trying to do." I'm trying to work through the energy. I have to use my hands. I have to feel it. But um, eventually, when you're doing the psionics, you can build different constructs out of this energy, and these mind machines or mind constructs actually work in the physical and in the astral world. Now, scalar waves, I would define that more as the result of using the tools. So you could have a psychotronic scalar wave generator that would generate the scalar wave, which would then have an effect on the environment in some way. So the scalar wave is something that would come out of a psychotronic generator. Your brain, your right hemisphere and your left hemisphere, form the when they go together. The separation between your brain is, like my cousin called that, the Jacob's ladder, that combines. So his brain kind of works. Both hemispheres work together. Okay, perfectly. Most of us are either right brain or left brain dominant, and so depending on how you were brought up. And just when you rub your hands together and you can feel the energy between your hands, that's like level one. Then you can rub your fingernails together and then rub your knuckles together and then go to right here, and then you'll notice that the energy is much stronger between your hands, and that's your chi, that's your life force energy that you have in there. And then once you have this energy, you can change. You have an energy ball. So then you have the intention. You can change that energy ball. Change it into a cube. And if you change it into a cube, you'll notice that your fingers start flattening out a little bit. Say, okay, this is a cube. Okay, then I'm going to change it into a like a pyramid. And then when I change it into a pyramid, notice that my hands start to, they kind of fold in a little bit. Okay, so my hands start to fold in when it's a pyramid. Then I'm going to change it into a cube, and they just slightly. And you learn to feel the energy. Okay, and then once you have that construct, you can build things inside of the construct. Okay, so this could be you could build a reality. Okay, so we can just we'll just send high vibrational love energy between our hands. Okay, so you can feel that high vibrational love. Now, once you have that, you can send that energy to anywhere in the universe. Okay, to anyone in the universe, and this is the basis between of distance healing and Reiki and energy healing. But it also is how remote viewing and remote um, influencing works. So, as an example, we'll take this energy. We're going to, inside the energy, we're going to program it with high vibrational love energy. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to throw it over our right shoulder. So on the count of three, 1, 2, 3, and I throw it over my right shoulder. And then you'll feel the energy then come back into your body. Okay. And you might feel the tingle in your fingers and stuff. And you can do that all day long and keep on adding to it. And then the more you practice, the more dense the energy becomes. So you can generate that. Then what I teach my students is to do what's called an activation word. So instead of going through all this process, you build up an activation word. So the activation word to generate energy in your hands is low ball 3. So when I say low ball 3, I'll start to feel that tingle in my hands automatically. I didn't have to rub my hands together. I didn't have to do all this. I just say low ball 3 and it activates the energy. And then I can program that. Okay. I can send it anywhere in the universe. But if I want to send it to myself, I send it over my right shoulder. Okay. And then it comes back into my body and stuff. So I can say low ball 3, and then I can program it. I can put it. So James, over on your the right hand. You got a keyboard over there
Yeah, no, I'm
on
just
your
trying to
desk.
sizes. Yeah.
Okay, so what
Okay,
I'm
you
going to do is I'm going to send the energy over to the right side of your keyboard, and just
okay.
hover over your keyboard and see if you can feel that. So we'll see over on the right side of your keyboard. So I've said low ball 3, and I'm sending the energy to the right side of your keyboard over there. And it might feel like
I feel like this.
yeah, a little breeze. Yeah. So it feels like a little breeze, or sometimes it feels like a little tingle and stuff. So this is the basis of a lot of the energy work, how the scalar wave, when you're the quickest um, way to get from point A to point B is not a straight line, but is to open up a portal, and connect those energies together. So we can send energy, and this is, everybody can do this stuff. It's not, you don't have to be somebody, special and stuff. And um, I was my cousin's experiment. He was trying to see if he could teach me to do what you know he could do. And he was, he's special. I'm not gonna lie, he's special, and the government knows he's special. When he was um, in the hospital, and I went to visit him and stuff, there were these, kind of men in black guys outside the hospital room, and they were like, I overheard him say, like, I don't know why he won't let us help him. So I don't know what he is, or he hasn't explained all this stuff, but he's a government asset. And one time, the one of the chaplains called me up and asked me what kind of things I had seen him do. And I told her, some of these experiences and stuff. And I don't even think she was really a chaplain, but she was just talking to me. um, and she said, whatever you do, don't tell anybody who he is. And I'm like, well, who do you think he is? Because I thought he was just my cousin. So the government knows, he has these abilities and stuff, and they treat him very well. And I find, a lot of other experiencers, I don't see that same type of situation. He's definitely an asset, what they call a government asset. So they put some money into him to make him whatever he is, and so they really try to protect him in a lot of ways. So, any other questions?
Yeah, let's go to the next one here. Let's see here. Can mind wipes be reversed?
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, and there are a number of super soldiers who are in the community, and they that I've helped. I was able to um, open up something, so I connected their brains, their minds all together. Okay, in the astral, and something happened that bypassed whatever their programming was, and it was like each of them have a psychic, like their psychic batteries that are charged up. And when I was able to connect them up, something popped, just like the something popped in him. And so I think it's something that um, is possible, and I think it's something that you have to have a certain level of energy. And I think it's some group work that personally, that is not something that most people are able to do as an individual, but I do believe it is possible.
Okay, well, I guess maybe more specifically, how can we do it other than
Um,
can it be done?
yeah, like I said, we did a meditative, a meditation where we joined everybody up, and it was just a guided meditation, um, over a Zoom call. and something popped and everyone started getting their memories. But now, did they all come out at once? No. And I think there's a lot of people in the community. They have a certain something happens to them. There might be a certain event that triggers them. A lot of people don't have memories. A lot of people that you see, and they go public. That's a small percentage of super soldiers who are out there who have memories. A lot of people that I work with are super soldiers, but they don't have, they have hints of what's going on, but they don't have their full memories. And it is a time consuming process to pull. You latch on to one memory, and then you try to expand it out and go deeper. I think the key is raising your vibration and increasing your life force energy. Those would be the primary thing. And then tapping into um, trying to get a hook. Once you have a little hook, and then a little spark, and then the fire can grow and open up even more.
Okay, there we go. That's better. So next question. When did you work at Boeing?
I didn't actually work at Boeing. I worked at the university under a grant for Boeing Phantom Works, and I developed a helmet tracking system and for the Phantom Works. It was a grant. And this was back in the day. Normally, when you deal with Boeing Phantom Works, um, these are technologies that don't come out for like 20 years and stuff. So, the university will write a grant to do research and come up with certain ideas. And so at the time, the helmet tracking systems were all mechanical, and we were using magnetic. Well, yeah, we used the magnetic and we used optical, and we were testing to see which type of motion tracking was the best. And this was the Predator system, and it would, as you move your head, the gun turret would uh, go through. And so, yeah, that was a pretty fun project.
Okay, so when you were the director of the Center for Scientific Visualization, a NASA-funded research facility, so what were you actually doing there as his visualizations?
I worked on the Sojourner project, looking for possible landing sites for the first Mars rover, looking for studying Mars data. And I did a 3D visualization. Computers back then were very antiquated compared to now, but it was pretty cool. We did a research. We had research from the Viking spacecraft. We were looking for possible landing sites at the university, and we did fly-throughs of the Martian terrain. And then that information was part of the Sojourner project, which was the first Mars rover um, to land on Mars there.
The next question, let's see here. Can you tell us a little bit about interdimensional beings, i.e., shadow people? What do you think that is?
Shadow people. Well, I've had a client. I had this one client, and this was kind of interesting. And she's in Saudi Arabia, and um, she was getting attacked by jinn. Okay, and these were, I mean, she was pretty upset. And sometimes I'll go to different sites and see, if people just need some help, and just try to help. And she had been on this forum and asking for help for about 4 months, and she had been getting attacked, and they were, actually, like, she's a younger lady, undressing her, like, doing, some perverted stuff to her. So these jinn seem to be, like actual. I think they're actual entities. They react to stimuli. They are just like in a different phase or different um, dimension than we are. Um, like my cousin was showing me, you can be standing next to somebody, and their torus field can be vibrating different from your torus field, and the connection of these torus fields together forms the Vesica Pisces, and this is the reality field that you guys share. Okay, and then if you look at the flower of life, that's like multiple reality fields. So I think that these um, shadow people and these jinn live in a dimension in between our reality fields, and they're able to, when they get enough energy, interact with things that are going on inside of this reality. If that makes sense.
Great, thank you. Next question. Let's see here. Can you tell us? How about we'll go back to the chat here. You think governments could make the dormant guardians have lavish lives so they wouldn't turn on them? Okay. Let's see here. Oh, I don't know. Paige, you're asking a lot of specific questions. I tell you what, why don't you book a session with Merlin Moonshadow, and then you can get your questions answered now. So, okay. Someone was asking about the amount of super soldiers. About 2 million people are taken each year in the secret space program. So on planet Earth. So of that, 5% are super soldiers, what I estimate, and even smaller are a percentage that were genetically augmented ultra soldiers. So thank you. Okay. All right. Let's go on here. How about we go back to the presentation?
Okay. So let's jump into some of the other technologies that let's go.
I could just go back to the beginning, so we can just hear
Yeah, we can.
the
I don't know if
introduction.
we need to go all the way back. Maybe let's go to slide 4. No, or 5. Let's go to slide 5. Okay.
I think
See
that
what
this
we've
this
covered. We've covered some of this stuff
okay.
already. Okay. With this, super soldier experiences. I do work a lot with targeted individuals. So some of my clients are people who are what's called a TI. So these people can be targeted for a number of reasons. Sometimes I don't know the reason, but they just reach out and they need the help. Sometimes they're experiencing gang stalking. Sometimes they're experiencing black magic covens. Sometimes they're dealing with government magic or scalar wave technologies. It comes in all different forms. The most interesting thing about the non-physical attacks is they always attack you at your weakest point. Never your second weakest, never your third, but always the weakest point. And that kind of tells me my theory is that these are more like programmable entities inside of the simulation, because they never come at you from the. So whatever you have the most problem, like if you have money problems, they will amplify your money problems. If you have relationship problems, they will amplify your relationship problems. But if your money's good, they're not going to hit your money. So that's kind of interesting. Sometimes magic is real. Magic is just another form of technology that they just don't teach you. It does exist. It's all around us. People have been working through throughout the years, to use different types of technologies and in order to manipulate this holographic reality and stuff. So I work with some people who are getting attacked by covens. I teach them how to increase their energy fields and how to transmute non-beneficial energies, how to um, use these technologies against them. Like everybody back in the day, I remember when I was growing up, everyone used to pray over their food. We have a scalar wave generator inside of our brain, which allows us to change the molecules of the food. And when you pray over it, you're able to change the um, frequency and vibration of the food. This goes into cooking. Like you have a home cooked meal, it tastes better than food that's been cooked by a restaurant, because a lot of times your mother will put more love into it. Love is a frequency that is transferred in there. There was a scientist, Dr. Emoto, who did research message in water, and what he would do is put an intention on the water and then freeze the water. It would turn into you put love on the water, it turns into a beautiful snowflake. You put hate on the water, and it's an ugly um, cluster of crystals. Well, and I think they took him out personally. Um, this doesn't just affect water, it affects all objects, okay? And it affects all people. So if you're if you're a kid and you're always getting yelled at with, hate, 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 it affects your organs. Okay. It affects not just the water in your body, but every cell, every atom can be affected by scalar wave energy. By our minds, we can manipulate um, reality with our minds. It's not just water, but the water is a good example, and this ties into some of the other research and some of the other stuff that I've been doing with the technology and with the software that I've developed over the years and stuff. So okay, that's the basics of radionics. So we'll go into radionics and energy manipulation. So in order to generate a operation, that's what we call it, you need three things. You need a target, you need an intention, and then you need a power source. Most people have the target and they have the intention, but they don't have the power source. And that's what I was study with my cousin. He had this immense amount of psychic energy, and some people call it psychotronic energy, and they have what's called psychotronic or scalar wave generators that increase your life force energy. Or if you study Qigong, you can be a Qigong master and you can cultivate these energies in your body, which takes a long time. And that's why we developed other techniques. So now you can just say the activation word low ball 3, and when you say that, your hands will start to tingle, and you'll instantly get that energy field around your hands. Now you can say that 20 times, low ball 3, low ball 3, low ball 3, low ball 3, and you can feel the energy increase around your body. Okay, especially around your hands and stuff. So we've been able to develop these techniques to rapidly cultivate this energy. Another tool that we use is the tensor rings. Now the tensor rings are metal rings. Let's see, I don't know if I have one. I have one in front of me, but they're metal rings that have a certain geometry, length for the rings, and I forgot the exact measurement. But the interesting thing is, they sell these rings, and some of them they're pretty expensive and stuff. But it's not the ring that has the power; it's the measurement. So I think one of the measurements is 20. I think 20.6. It might be centimeters. I'm not sure. You can look it up. Just look up the sacred cubit of for the tensor ring. But anything that you build with this particular measurement has that particular energy inside of it. So they took that measurement off of the Great Pyramid, and then they turned it into these rings. And it's fascinating because the rings perfectly fit around the they perfectly fit around the smart meters. Okay, and you can use them to protect you know from negative energy, non-beneficial energies from the smart meters. They use it. That's another way they use to attack, is they send energy through the smart meters. So on one client's house, we had put the tensor rings on the house, and she was still feeling the non-beneficial effects. And then we found out that they were broadcasting from the other location across right next door. So the smart meter next door was broadcasting into that house, and so that was causing problems. So they're very diabolical in the way they give off this radiation. So by using tensor rings, and we use we call digital talismans. We put them up on the breaker boxes of the in people's homes. We're able to lower the non-beneficial energies down to a place where they can sleep and helps them prevent attacks. We can also put up orgone pyramids. Now the trick with orgone pyramids, I've been doing this for quite some time. So when we first started, and they call it gifting, throwing these orgone pyramids and these different orgone generators out near cell phones, towers, and stuff, they were doing pretty good. But then they kind of fell off. So what we found was, just like a sponge, you got to clean it. So what a lot of people, when you buy these orgone pyramids, they'll buy the pretty ones that look real nice and have crystals. Those normally aren't that good. But eventually what you have to do is you have to clean the orgone, and you need like a magnet or a magnetic pulse generator. Let's see that. You need like some type of magnetic pulse generator in order to do it. So this is like I don't know if you can see this. This is like an orgone. It's like a magnetic pulse generator. And so when you put that on the orgone pyramid and you let it run for a while, this is a crystal pyramid, but you let that run for a little bit, and then it cleans out the orgone, because it gets, if it's in a heavy area, it's going to get stuck. It's just like a sponge. You can use the sponge, but eventually you have to clean it out. And there's like a lot of orgone out there that hasn't been cleaned, so you got to flush it out. Another interesting thing with the pyramid, so when you have the Great Pyramid, each of the sides on the bottom are equivalent to the speed of light. So they just move the decimal point off. But just because they use that mathematical number, they're able to generate that energy for the speed of light. And you can do that too. So you can use these numeric equations when you build different things, and when we build our constructs and stuff in our classes and stuff, we're able to pull out those different energies. In using mathematics as opposed to using brute force, you're able to really generate more energy. Another important thing is the frequency of your food that you eat. Most of the food now is really bad and has a very low frequency. So, putting the food on a orgone generator, putting it on a scalar wave plate. So, we have these. This is one of our scalar wave plates, and you can use this to charge food. You can put different. You can put water on it, put a water bottle on it, and stuff, so that it charges. Let's see, right there.
So,
See that?
so what? Why is it being plugged in? Is that like radionics?
Yeah. So this particular one is plugged into a power source, and it gives off scalar wave. This is a flower of life. It gives off scalar waves. It also has a number of frequencies that are built in, the different Saveggio frequencies and chakra frequencies, and that is used to clear stuff out. Now, the cool thing about, it has a USB connection. You can plug it into your car, and it cleans out the area in your car. You can get like um, just a small battery pack, and you can take it with you. Um, you can plug it in, like, just get like a little cell phone battery pack, and plug it into that, and take it with you. And then we have some other
Yeah,
software.
I have a question. So, are you familiar with the work of Ashiana Dean?
It sounds familiar.
It's usually
What?
about once or twice a year. I get an email from somebody who thinks they know everything about sacred geometry, and then it's always traced down to that Ashiana Dean. She says that the flower life symbol is fallen geometry and all that. So, I just want to hear what's your thoughts on the flower life.
Okay, so that, yeah, and I've come across that too.
Yeah, tell us.
So the way things work in reality is the principle of origin of intent. So you can take anything and turn it into anything else. So you can take the sacred geometry symbol, like the Nazis took the swastika, which was an Indian symbol, and they turned it into something negative. Okay. So it depends on what your intention was at the beginning. When you look at the flower of life, if they got it with the intention of it being negative, it can be turned into negative. And that's what the dark side, likes to do. They try to trick you into false narratives, and, thinking that you're, thinking about one thing, and really you're thinking about something else. Like, there's a lot of stuff, like, you can, I'm very energy, sensitive, and I do a lot of energy combat. So I can take somebody, and I can increase their energy and lower their energy. I can take this symbol, put it on them, and then do muscle testing, and I can see whether the energy goes up or whether the energy goes down. That's the easiest way to tell if it's negative or positive. So somebody could put the intention and set it up so it is negative, but for the most part, you can test. And I teach my students to, I got, pendulum. This is a, I don't know if you see that. Use different pendulums. You got the big one to do muscle testing, and use different pendulums to test to see if it's positive or negative. I also teach them to use body dowses, because sometimes it's not cool to pull out, a pendulum in public. So you have to learn to body douse. So I teach them how to take their fingers like this, and test muscle test. Some people do this. to muscle test. So you can do all kinds of different things to test for energy. And that's something that we should have been taught as children, because the ability to test to see if something's good or bad, or high vibrational or low vibrational, and that goes into with the food. Like when I go to the store, I quickly test, okay, is this have any nutrients in it? Is this high vibration? And it's a matter of, and this is something my cousin taught me, you put your intention into something. When you put your intention in there, you have a resonance, you connect up, form the vesica pisces, where you have the shared energy. You test the energy. If it's good, you get the information, or if it's bad, you get the information. But yeah, it could be either way.
All right, let's go on here. So, can you tell people about the box?
About the the Neo Cube,
Yeah.
or the okay.
What have you experienced with it?
Okay, so this is the big dog here. I don't
Oh
know if
dear.
you show up.
Maybe get a little closer to the camera. Something like that.
Okay.
Looks like a black space there. Okay.
All right there. Okay, so this is the. I'll turn it around so you can.
Oh yeah, the infinity.
Yeah, this
Oh
is the.
yeah. Well, can't see it.
There we go. That's so weird. The camera doesn't want to pick it up. Okay, well,
This
there it
dimension.
is. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
That's a good one. Okay, so this is the Neo Cube, and I've had this. Oh, I've had it for a good 10 years, man. And this is it's a radionic device. Now it has orgone inside of it, and the orgone is set up. Let's see if I can even. Know if I can pull it open. I don't think I can pull it open, but the orgone is set up in a grid formation, and so you can use it for meditation. It clears the room out, clears out negative energy. It's almost like a artificial intelligence, and you can give it commands, and it works. I use it also with the plate, and I put it on there, and I put that on top of it, charge it up. It amplifies the energy in the house. It'll amplify the energy in the home. You can give it commands. I can command it to send energy to a location. It's almost like a prism. So, when you shine light into um, a prism, it separates out, and then you can pick the color of light, or the frequency or vibration that you want to go to a particular target. So I use it a lot for healing, clearing out negative energy. I can put it in a location, and it clears the non-beneficial energies out. I keep it in my car a lot of times, and I have a big SUV, and it just clears out the energy, keeps the kids calm and stuff. Very powerful technology.
Awesome. Okay, let's go on to maybe one of the last products you have here. So that's
So let's go real quick to 11.
oh, okay,
Um,
sure.
go to 11. So 11 is the slide 11. Okay, so this is the Hieronymus machine. So this technology was invented by Mr. Hieronymus. I forgot his first name, but so what happened? I learned about this when I was like 14 years old, and I read this book. The book was called "Mind Machines That You Can Create," and it talked about this guy Hieronymus, and this is a patented psychotronic device. And the cool thing about the device, it was this little black box, and you could use it to heal people. I was like, okay, that's cool. Then he said you didn't have to have it plugged in. and it still worked. I say, okay, that's a little weird. Then he said you could even take a schematic of the device and it would still work. So this is the schematic and it would still work. And I was like, okay, that's wild and stuff. And so that was the basis of my technology. So this is the basic device here. And even though it's a picture, it still works. So what, that kind of, even though, this is just a picture. So then I started doing, if you look up here, you see the sensor pad. I started doing research on, um, energy, pyramid energy. So I figured, okay, that's pretty interesting. If you have a pyramid, the pyramid gives off energy. But then I said, okay, I was doing 3D modeling. I was like, wait a minute, hey, if I 3D model this pyramid, it still gives off energy. I was like, okay, that's weird. So then if I just do a wireframe of the pyramid, it still gives off energy. So, that kind of I love this technology, especially because you can do it on paper and it starts waking people up like, okay, if you can do this with paper, then what else, you know, can we do? And then you can eventually, you don't even need the paper, you know. So this is the basis of a lot of technology that's used in the super soldier program. So if you go to slide 12, um, and slide 12, we have this is a picture of Captain America in the movie, and movies have a lot of
Yeah,
disclosure.
that's
Okay, and
basic.
they use this machine to create the super soldier. Now this is a advanced Hieronymus machine. Okay, and what that means is he's using, it's not just electricity that he's using to do this. There's a psychic connection with this technology that allows the intention or operation to flow. Now, if you study Bob Lazar and what he was saying about the grays and the ships there, they had these chairs, but they didn't have any wires to anything. There was a psychic connection. So there's a technology, and this is the radionics and stuff that uses the mind to focus through a intention, and it can be wires, it can be with knobs, it can be with a picture, okay, to amplify the psychic energy and reprogram this holographic matrix. So this was shown in the movie, and then I came across it in one of in a comic book. There's a lot of similarities to a lot of things that are going on in the super soldier community that are disclosed in comic books. And a number of a lot of the super soldiers take on some of these personas, and I think some of that stuff is disclosure, some of it's um, people when they sleep, they interconnect. I had another client that was working with me. He took, and if you go to the next picture, 13. Okay, so this is one of my images, and when I started working with this technology, I started focused on love energy. So I can't mess anything up. Okay, I'm just work with love energy. So I had an image similar to this, and I had a client that was having some trouble sleeping. So I created him. It's not this particular one, but it was similar. And so he slept with it, and then he went online and got a psychic reading. So the reading he got was like 12 pages. I was like, wow, that's a detailed site. And it was this whole story of some princess, and he was a prince, and um, her father didn't like him, and he didn't think he was good enough, and then but she fell in love with him. So I was sleeping with the same picture under my bed as the client. The night before, I had gone to see this movie called Underworld, and the story that the psychic wrote down the 12 pages was pretty much the entire story from Underworld. And what was happening was they can't pick up, they can't really read your mind, they can read your energy field. Okay, so your energy, everyone thinks it's all in your head, but it's really in your aura. There's more information out here, and they're able to read the aura around you. And so the digital talisman was amplifying his energy. The psychic was coming in, and she's reading the energy field. And because we had two pictures together, it was setting up a portal between the two energy fields, and she was picking up the energy from me that when I saw the movie and stuff. So it was pretty fascinating. Another time, I had another client, and I was working different picture, but she took the energy and she just put the picture on her chest. Then she went to a church group, and when she went to the church group, there was a psychic there, and it was kind of similar to this one. It had a lot of circles, concentric circles coming out, and so the prophet or the person at the church was saying, "Oh, I see. The Lord has a target on you. I see the target. I see the circles." So he was able to pick up on the energy. I just put the picture up to her chest. She went to the church and got the reading, and then she brought back the tape. And he was, describing the energy picture. So, but he's not picking it up from her mind. He's picking up the information from the field, the energy field around it. So I found that was pretty fascinating. This is the quantum love image. If you put your hand up to the image on the screen, you probably can feel a little tingle or energy. This is scalar wave energy, high vibrational love energy that's being given off from this. And we use the quantum love energy a lot in this work because you can't really mess stuff up. I've had a number of anecdotal testimonies where they've taken the image and put it under grandma's bed and she's recovered, or put it underneath the cat and the cat started walking again, or stuff like that. I had this guy in Hungary who printed out like hundreds of them, and he put them all over his wall and stuff. And he was getting all these wild effects and stuff. So I started building these a good 30 years ago, and at first I would just give them out for free, and then everybody started asking for more and more of them, and so I started building more and more advanced versions of this. So the new ones I have, this is Quantum Love, I have Quantum Grid, I have all kinds of different digital talismans for different things that you might need, and it's good for healing. You can put it on your food to send. So remember the Dr. Emoto with just putting the word love on the water. Well, when you use the quantum love, it amplifies this energy, and you can just you feel the tingle. And I wanted to build stuff so that even a person who doesn't have a lot of psychic abilities or energy is able to feel something, to get that feedback from the technology. Then the next one, okay, so we'll jump. We talked a little bit about the Zoom call with the super soldiers. We'll keep going. And then when I connected everybody's brain together, we talked about that. And then I think we talked about that. Okay, yeah. Then we talked about the smart meter. So with the smart meter, it is fascinating that the tensor ring fits perfectly on the smart meter. So whoever built the smart meter, understands in some way some type of sacred geometry. Okay, they understand that because they're using it, like I said, it can be used in a positive way, or it could be used in a negative way. But you don't have to. It doesn't have to be made out of metal. You can make a tensor ring out of, as long as it has the proper measurement. You can build anything out of that. So, when you study these UFOs and you study even crop circle, technology, you'll notice that there's certain measurements that activate these energies. So when I started studying crop circles, they were like, "Oh, the crop circle's fake. Oh, the crop circle's not fake." Well, um, in Ohio, in there's a Serpent Mountain, and there was a crop circle out there, and I went out there, and it seemed like it was a real crop circle, and I saw people, they were measuring, and these people would crawl on the ground to get to the crop circle because of the energy and stuff. But then I realized that you could build, even if you made a fake crop circle, even if it was fake, and you use the proper measurements, it would still generate the energy. Okay. So this is a technology. Each one of those blades of grass works together to form the shape. Most people, when they see crop circles, they just see the shape of the crop circle. But you got to remember that, just like in the flower of life, these individual circles and individual vesica pisces work together to form the energetic, battery. And that was the same thing that happened when I was working with the super soldiers. I was able to take them together and form this energetic, battery in order to activate that. So I think now maybe I can show some of the software.
All right, go ahead. Do you want to share your screen?
Yeah, I'll see if I can.
So the button is in the center there,
Okay. See if I can.
where it says share screen. So you can do either your entire screen or a part of it.
Let's see. Let's do the window here. Okay. See if you can see that.
Okay, so what are we looking at here?
Okay, so this is the Quantum Megacaster workstation software, and this is based off of again some of the technology that I worked with or developed over the years, working with the super soldiers there. So we have um, the quantum love image, and then I can take a target, and then what we can do is we can send energy to that particular target, and and you can put different intentions in there. You can increase the life force energy. You can shield the target, um, and you can magnify all of this, and you set it up for maximum benefit. Then we can connect this up to the plate. So you can, what happens is when you connect the USB connection, then you can actually feel the energy. It's like it's floating on the plate on top of it, and so it amplifies. It connects to the plate, and you can transmit the scalar wave energy, and you can program. So with the plate, you can actually, there's a little spot here where you can put in a picture, or you can put in an intention, or put in a talisman inside of here, then you can also put it on top of there so that you're continuously broadcast. So if you're dealing with a healing scenario, you can just have your picture in there continuously getting sent these energies, and then you can attach it with the software, increasing the density. Now, even on the if you put your hand up to the screen, it's amazing how this stuff works. You can still feel the energy coming off the screen. And then you can set up different intentions here. And we can set up different particles and particle colors and stuff, different lasers. And we can automatically send the energies to this target. And this is, again, the technology this is technology that I discovered working with the super soldiers, being able to take all of their psychic energy, connecting them together, forming a almost like a energy battery. And once the super soldiers were connected together, it unlocked something, and they were able to retrieve. These were complete strangers who suddenly remembered that they knew each other. It was very fascinating, very amazing. So you can use this for manifestation. You can use it to send yourself energy. You can send energy to a target. You can use it to, you could take a picture of some food. You can charge food with it. You could use it to protect your house from psychic attack, dark magic. You can increase the all kinds of particle controls, increase the size of the particles. And then when they hit, you can feel the energy emanation out. You can set all that stuff. So just put your hands up to the screen. Even if you're watching this video, you can still feel the energy that this type of technology radiates. So on a simple, level, if we're able to do this stuff with paper, and we're able to do this stuff, with the simple, software. Well, this software is not that simple, but it's, just think about if in the programs where they have larger amounts of energy, and where they have larger arrays, and what they're able to program. One of the most fascinating research findings that I found was studying George Washington Carver, and he's known for manipulating the peanut. Well, this is way back in the I think maybe 1940s or something, and they didn't have computers. They didn't have any type of CRISPR technology. What he was doing, he would take the seeds in his hands, and he would remote view into the genetic structure of the seeds, and restructure the seeds, and then plant them. Okay, and he would do this, through remote viewing. And this is ability that we all have. We have the ability to manipulate on a subatomic level, as well as, even on an atomic level. And the more energy and the more chi and the more life force you have, the more powerful you become. Utilizing this type of software, you don't need to. I provide the energy, so all you have to have is the target and the intention, and then you don't have to worry about. And that was, again, some of the research that I found working with super soldiers and my cousin there.
Okay, great. So where can we get a copy of this software?
You can check it out and get a copy on psionicwarriors.com. Go to the store section there, and you can get a copy there. And I think we might put a copy on your store too, James. so they can get it on your site.
All right, so I've always wanted to do this. I'm going to share my screen again. I want you to tell us about these different items. So, okay, now it's not loading. I'm going to do.
Do I need to turn this off?
Oh, I know. I got it. Yes, here, I found it. Yeah. Okay, so I think I just got so many windows open on my computer. Okay, here we go. So tell us about these different products, and I'll make my share. I'm sorry, my screen a little.
Oh, okay. The first product, okay, is Quantum DMT. This is a scalar wave product that uses sound resonance to simulate the frequencies of DMT. The next product is I believe that's the black goo shield. So black goo is a nano technology, and what we've been able to find is there's a certain frequency that disrupts the black goo. The black goo does not like, and it doesn't want to attach onto things that have that frequency. So utilizing psychotronics, we're able to generate that frequency, and there's a digital talisman, and I think there might be also an audio file in there that helps shield people from the black goo. The next one is strength of the God. So this one is based off of the technology that my cousin was teaching me. Like I said, even though he was stage 4, he was able to go to the gym and lift 400 pounds bench press. And so I would train with him, and I took the training and tried to capture that so that I could teach people how to gain this super strength. So it doesn't have anything to do with muscle. This is all what's called chi or life force energy, and simply doing these exercises and following the manual, you can quickly increase your strength level. Now, the way it works, it's not like you're going to be walking around super strong all the time. It allows you to tap into that energy very quickly, and focus it and blast it, lift the weight, and then put it down, and then you tap into it again. It's not like you don't need to be flexed continuously. It's almost like set up like accessing a berserker rage, but focusing it in on your muscles, to lift things up. This is the same type of energy when you see these stories where a grandmother sees her grandchild um, you know trapped underneath a car. She has the energy to pick the car up and move it. How does that work? Well, studying my cousin, I've been able to tap into that energy and teach other people how to use it. What's next there? Okay. The next one is let's see. Next one is the golden. Okay. Oh, the golden tree manifestation. So this is a technique, a very powerful technique that my cousin taught me in order to manifest and really to amplify positive things in your life. So going through this powerful energy manifestation, and like I said, the energy is encapsulated into the digital talisman, so you don't have to go through years of qigong and training. We can just access that energy whenever we want. And the next one is the Quantum Grid Prime. So the story behind Quantum Grid Prime, I had developed this energy talisman, and it was very powerful. So I put it under my sword that's over my mantle, over my fireplace. So I left it there. And then I left it there for maybe about 30 days. And I'm trying to charge my sword up, make a magic sword or whatever. Okay. So then what I noticed was when I came back, there was all this sand around the paper where the talisman was. I'm like, okay, what's going on? Where did this sand come from? The vibration of this talisman had started to dissolve the stone. Okay. And when I started studying this, if you ever watch the 9/11 research, a lot of the brick dissolved. It was just turned to dust. Okay. So I believe they were using some type of scalar wave technology. Well, when this brick started turning, I got a little scared, I'm not gonna lie. And I just put it away. And then, I had some people come up to me and said, "Hey, what's your most powerful, tech?" And I said, "Well, I got something here, but I don't really sell it." And he said, "Yeah, well, that's what I want." And so, and he needed it and stuff. And so then I really started focusing on trying to make Quantum Grid the most powerful thing out there. And so this is an early version. I think we're on Quantum Grid. I think we're on 7 now, and we increase the energy of Quantum Grid every 3 days, and try to make it even more and more powerful. But this is an early version, and it's extremely powerful. It's extremely amazing, and if you're into this type of technology, I definitely recommend it. If you see any of these technologies and you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me and contact me on Psionic Warriors site. And if you have any other questions.
Wow, thank you so much, Merlin Moonshadow. I appreciate you coming on here. And I just want to say that was an amazing presentation. I've used some of your products, and they've helped me tremendously over the years. I've actually got a Radionics machine, and I'm running a program right now for a friend who's not who's in the hospital. So it's amazing. Yeah, I've noticed. Usually, I have to use it about 2 or 3 times, and then you get some manifestations from it. So
Yeah.
anyway, okay. Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Audience members, thank you for listening in for this 2 hour plus presentation. If as far as updates are concerned, I've got a special coming up on St. Patrick's Day with Kimberly. She's channeled some leprechauns, or a leprechaun, and we're going to hear a message from a leper koi, as they call themselves. So that's going to be on Monday, 5:15 p.m. Eastern time. Let's see here. I've been asking for donations to come in so I could go to Los Angeles to present at the Alien event, but I was only able to get $175. I probably needed close to like 400 is what I was looking at, because I did find somebody did offer a place for me to stay for free, but unfortunately, I did not get enough donations, and I've been informed that I've been cut from the roster. So if you've purchased a ticket to that event, I want to say thank you. Message me and I'll give you a free ticket to my conference, which is coming up in October 8th to the 12th in Orlando, Florida. So, and as far as the donations are concerned, I'm going to apply them from last year because I had to borrow money. Normally I get enough donations coming in every month, but for the last 2 or 3 months, they went down significantly, and I wasn't able to. It wouldn't have been a big deal. It shouldn't have been. So just send me a message at supersoldiertalk@gmail.com, and you got to provide some kind of proof that you actually did purchase a ticket to the alien event. Okay, other updates. Let's see here. Let's you can go to healingsoulsurvivors.org to make a donation. So it is an actual 501c3. You'll get a tax deductible donation. So, and then you can go to neologicaltech.com and purchase some of these talismans. So I also have the meditation cube, which Merlin showed you a little bit earlier. I do have some of those in stock, not the big one, but I can make you a big one if you want to. You just have to message me. And let's see.
And we're going to put the plate up on your site too.
Okay, that would be awesome. Yeah, we'll talk about that, the plate software. And we're working on another top secret project together. We'll tell you soon. But hey, Merlin, do you think we could get you come back on here? Maybe you could do a group meditation, like you said. You connected super soldiers to Captain America, or whatever it was.
Yeah, that would work. Yeah, I'd love to do that.
Okay, great. Let's see your audience members. Thank you for the great questions. I want to say we all had some great questions coming here today. We had, let's see, your final comments. Let's see. Shelly says she has a cube. Very good. Linda says, thank you, Moonshadow. Very interesting. I have to watch again. A lot to digest. Thank you, says love and protection. Nancy sends you 3 hearts.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Somebody says, Linda says, thank you, James, darling. We have, and Linda says she's going to manifest some money. So Linda, let's put the Nasara protocol on there, because I know you got your, she's trying to set up a petting zoo or something in Australia, but I don't know. Well, it wasn't a petting zoo, but a nice healing sanctuary. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you, Spiritual Drip. We'll see you all later. I'm going to play a little special presentation for the Life Wave patches. So this is about 3 or 4 minutes, and we will all see you next week. So everybody stay tuned, and we'll see you all later. Goodbye, everyone. See you all later. Bye.
See you. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode. Today we have LifeWave brand partner Arthur Gross with us again to discuss a breakthrough in pain relief, the LifeWave Ice Wave patch. Arthur, welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, James. Thanks for having me back.
Okay, great. So let's just jump on in. You were just showing us a little clip there of what the Ice Wave patch looks like, or at least what you receive when you purchase one. So tell us what it is and how does it help with pain relief?
The Ice Wave patch is drug-free. It doesn't put anything in your body. It works through the process called photobiomodulation, or light-making change in the body, much like vitamin D is created in your body as a reaction from the sun. They're drug-free, there's no stimulants, they're non-addictive, they're very easy to use, and they have immediate effect.
That's amazing. So tell us a little bit, how does it work?
It's a 2-patch system, a tan patch and a white patch. You put the white patch on the right side of your body and the tan patch on the left side. That's for general full body pain. If you have specific pain, say you have a knee ache, you can put the brown patch directly on the pain, and then you set the white patch using the clock method at 12 o'clock. And if you don't have immediate relief, you can move it around to 3 o'clock and test it for how much relief you get. You should experience relief virtually immediately. And once you move it around and find the best spot for it, you leave it there. You can wear the patches for up to 12 hours, and they're going to get rid of your pain really quick.
Great, thank you. So do you have any information on any studies on how it affects the body?
Yes, these patches are clinically proven to increase mitochondrial function and reduce pain and inflammation. Some of these bullet points are: they're fast-acting for immediate relief, supports improved mobility, reduces inflammatory response, eases tension and headaches, eases local acute pain, eases all over body pain, works on chronic and acute pain, eases muscle tension pain, balances cognitive vitality. They're safe and non-addictive. no drugs, or harmful side effects.
Can you discuss, is it for just localized pain, or how about the general body, or even more specifically, is this even addictive?
It's not addictive at all, and there's no side effects. The use of the Ice Wave patch, it's a class 1 medical device for pain control to have a very important and almost immediate effect on the moderation of muscular contractions and tensions, as well as of the associated pain.
Wow, great. Thank you. So again, this is a 2-patch system. You would get, what, 30 patches in that little box?
That's correct. You get 15 of the brown and 15 of the white.
Great. So how long could you use each patch? And yeah.
Ice Wave patches are a 2-patch system. They may be worn up to 24 hours at a time, take to 1 to 2 days off for 5 full days of use. So you can wear them 24 hours, but then you want to give it a day break.
Right. Well, I put some of those things on my father, and he kept it on for a week, but it's not a problem. There's not going to be negative side effects if you.
No, there's no negative side effects. And if you do forget to take any of the patches off, the reflective quality lasts between 20 to 24 hours. So if you forget to take it off, it'll just stop working after about a day anyway.
Fantastic, Arthur. Thank you for sharing with us today.
Thank you for having me, James.
Okay, so that's it for today's episode. Stay tuned for more insights into health and wellness. Take care, everybody. Please consider supporting Super Soldier Talk by purchasing your own Neo Meditation device. Your Neo Meditation device will help you reduce stress, integrate trauma, enhance intuition, enhance clairvoyance, and enhance creativity. Get yours now at www.neologicaltech.com.